All right. I'm not sure what to expect. Here, let me adjust the music for a little bit. There we go. Much better. Do we get an unboxing stream? No. No, no, no. No. You can see my hands occasionally when I do hand stuff. I want to show off silly things, but no. You will not get an unboxing stream. I am not that kind of VTuber thought. Only mildly. Not really. Oh, goodness. All right. So this starts in like 10 minutes. I was debating how I wanted to do this, but basically what we're going to do, I was like, maybe we should just be quiet the whole time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let people that want to talk during this come on, some of my friends. Wow. Don't know why. You know, YouTube is like censoring certain things. That's kind of funny. I'll let that one go through. I'm going to debate Candace. Fuck no, I'm not going to do that. That's a bad idea. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep myself on mute. Oh, excuse me. But here's what we're going to do. All right, if friends want to come on, they may. For the Zoomers, for the Zoomers in the background, or for those that don't know, a Twitter Space doesn't really have a lot of video. If it does have video, I'll show it. But at last I checked, last I was in a Twitter Space, which I think was the time that Mizu debated that gimmick account. They don't have like video. They just have people talking. So here's what we're gonna do. All right, this thing starts in a couple of minutes. When it starts, I'll show like the screen for a little bit, but if there's nothing like relevant to show, I'm gonna put something I'm gonna put something on in the background for people. You know, for the Zoomers that want to see something if you are watching, cool. If you are listening, even cooler. So the Earth update account, yes. Pretty much. Dumb to debate, yes. Okay. Maybe I need to work on the community moderation for YouTube here. Moderation. Wow. In the live chat. There we go. Maybe that'll fix it. I don't want it to moderate anything. I want to remove my own messages, YouTube. All right. But yeah, if friends want to jump in, we'll have room open. And yeah, I think the most part here, it's going to be half stream snipe, half preservation, half like, you know, just sitting here listening and laughing. I've not done this before where I've like caught something live like this. So, well, actually, maybe that's a lie. I have no idea. I have no idea. But yeah, for those that don't know or haven't really watched my Candace Owens streams, the reason why I kind of am laughing is just because, you know, there's a certain amount of like disgust you feel when somebody is like grifting off of the body of a dead man, which is what Candace is doing. And there's another part of you that just like looks at how she's doing it and you're like, man, I want to make fun of this bitch. And that's kind of how it is with me. If she sounds funny enough, I'm gonna do it, you know. So that's the goal. If you're curious, that's why. She's like something that's funny to me. All right. If you're not interested, that's okay. Totally understandable. Don't mind whatsoever. But that's like that is the thing for tonight. I normally don't stream on Monday nights, which is why this is kind of just like a bonus stream. It's a bonus stream for people. The amount of gaslighting in this Twitter space would make a mustache man proud? Probably. But anyway, let me give you like a small... Before this whole thing gets started here, let me give you... Thank you for becoming a Yippee for 8 months. Very much appreciated. Let me show you what we're going to be watching. Oops, wrong screen. I'm a professional here. I have something. It might be for Wednesday. Probably. Either Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday. But I have finally, chat, I got my quartering video. Okay, so that is going to be something that we watch because I'm excited is what I'm gonna say. I'm excited. I got my quartering video. I actually kind of like this channel, Mikey No More. He's made a couple videos that I realized it going back that I've listened to. Like the Vicious Vickers one I listened to, that one was really good. I've listened to some of his review tech stuff. I think he's a really big fan of like dissing on review tech. I haven't watched his Nick Fuentes one, but maybe we need to watch that because I think some people need to remember that. People need to remember Mr. Cum Hunter Catboy Nick Fuentes. So yeah, we're gonna be watching this, I think, on Wednesday. Either Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We shall see. But anyway, let's see. Oh, that's that. I get okay. So like, unironically, just like on the way leading up to this, Candace Owens is like fighting with Nick Fuentes right now. Something that, by the way, you shouldn't do if you're confident in your partner. She's like fighting with Nick Fuentes about like how she met her husband. There's like now a conspiracy theory that I don't believe or care about, but if it's true, it's hilarious, that her husband is like a deep op from another country. And they say that because her husband is actually like British. Okay. Her husband is British. And so some people are alleging that her husband is like an op for another country, and maybe that's where things are coming from. Were we ever going to get a June the King on the quartering? I don't know, maybe. But instead of the June the King, we got Mikey No More, who I kind of like. I kind of like Mikey No More. He's a based dude. British, yes. UK Lord, introduced by Andrew Tate, according to her. I'm gonna be honest, I've heard that she's like changing up her story now, so I don't even know how she met her husband. It's kind of funny. But yeah, she fought with Nick Fuentes. And like he's showing clips of her lying, I guess. And like they just go back and forth and back and forth. And then Jeremy Jeremy getting his 2 cents in because like right now his grift is anti-Candace as well, which, you know what, it's kind of easy to hate Candace, so I don't mind that much. But anyway, so she's gonna have this Twitter space. All right, this Twitter space is gonna happen. All right, and it's all gonna be about Fort Huachuca. For those that need a bit of a reminder, her big thing, like the big ball theory around this, is that Erica Kirk and some people from TPUSA and some military people, and I think maybe a U.S. senator is somewhere in there. Her big claim is that all of these people met at Fort Huachuca, which is in, I believe, Arizona, to talk about Charlie Kirk's assassination. And then her totally legitimate, totally real asset, Mitch, saw this happen. All right, that's like, that is like her whole thing. Okay, so I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see just kind of like what goes on here. It's 8:30 now, so I guess we're waiting for her to start. Oh, excuse me. By the way, I've got a... Oh, fuck. I had an ulcer a couple years ago. Unfortunately, it doesn't, like, play well sometimes when I have, certain foods, and I think it was some hyper-processed peanut butter that I had that tricked it off right now. So if I cough, I'm not sick. I think I'm just trying to, like, not die right now. This whole thing is a cluster. I don't trust the FBI to be truthful about Kirk. Oh, no, no, no. I think the thing that's, like, I think the thing that people need to understand is that, like, most people will agree that there's weird things, all right? All right, to be as reverent as possible, there's weird things going on with the Charlie Kirk stuff, all right? 100%. There's weird things going on with him, or around his death, basically. And I am not going to say that, like, Candace is wrong in saying that. I do think that she is wrong in the fact that she's trying to pull in literally all forms of government and saying that all forms of government are against her. Okay? Am I used to my new job? I would say so, yeah. I would say so, yeah. Occam's razor matches up with the FBI's explanation far more than whatever Candace Owens is spouting. Yes. Well, what's funny is... Sorry, and I'm going to keep refreshing here just until it starts, because it's not started yet. Come on, Candace! Start your thing! Set reminder. Are you going to do it? Oh my gosh. So... fuck, what was I going to say? Oh, right. One of the things that she uses as proof is she claims that, like, a senator was there instead of in the Senate. Or it's either a senator or, like, some other kind of, like, government official. And there's, like, proof that he was. There's, like, camera proof that he was in the Senate. Like, he wasn't counted in the roll call, which, as somebody that's very limited in their government understanding, all right, very limited, I didn't know how that worked. But apparently he wasn't counted in the roll call, but he was there voting. And, like, people can prove that he was there voting. And she's trying to claim that that's not true. So there's just a lot of, like, stupidity, basically. Like, there's camera footage. Somebody, like, I don't have it here with me. There's a lot of stuff, by the way, that I see when I'm on break. When I'm on break, I'll scroll Twitter. And, like, I saw a picture. Like, there's just a picture of this guy in the Senate. They're like, that's him. Gun tubers have been simulating the shot and getting completely different results with ballistic gels. Oh, I believe that, like, there's a lot of gun tubers that I trust way more than her that are saying that, that the bullet that was claimed to be used is different. Oh, she's live. Perfect.
From MommaOcco.
Perfect.
At Lobert_Tarian send $5 for more hats. The greatest thing that Nick has given us is watching a Mexican nude see shame and expose so many right-wing Israel chair next to motel bed sitters.
I'm going to try to, Harrison, I'm going to add you right now.
Oh boy, here we go, chat. Here we go.
Through all this tech stuff early on because it's not my strong suit. Usually Mark is doing this stuff for me. And there are some people that I definitely want to make sure are added on as speakers.
Perfect. We're good, chat.
Okay, there's a lot of people on. Okay, good button. Good button.
How do I
did want to make sure
I've never done this before, chat, by the way.
In here, but I wanted to make
okay, I think this is the request to speak because I'm not a speaker.
To these, I didn't know I could do a co-host option either, so you guys have to forgive me because I'm not the best at this. Okay, I do want to start by just before
because there's video here.
I think right now we only have Harrison, but I do want to add a lot more people. Especially Harrison, I'm glad that you could.
Tell me if I need to turn it up.
I do want to hear your perspective on things from the InfoWars standpoint. Okay, so I just want to start by recapping everything that happened with Fort Huachuca. I think that that's, sorry, I'm going to add 2 more people.
Okay, Elon, you need to fix this. This is kind of messed up.
I'm going to add you. Nice to meet you.
Turn it up. Okay, hold on.
Myron, I'm going to go ahead and add you. I'm going to add Ryan here. Okay, just going to do that for now, and then we can just get started. Okay. So yeah, the first thing I want to do is just to make sure that everybody understands what the Fort Huachuca
Please tell me if that's loud enough, by the way. I'll read super chats at the end, by the way.
Obviously, I appreciate that not everybody watches my podcast, and there has been just such an aggressive, I would describe it as a misinformation campaign. A lot of people that are chasing rabbits. It has nothing to do with what we discussed on the show. And I do think it's important for people to also have the clarity of how quickly this all unfolded. So I did create this little timeline, which I just jotted down because if I make
part
one
of
mistake,
history.
then again,
Oh, okay.
it comes down my throat.
I should say it's only towards the top because it's me there. I highly doubt I'm actually towards the top for a lot of other people viewing.
I have told the story on my podcast. I hate that this is just the reality of how it happened. Okay, so it was a holy day of obligation, and I did my podcast. Obviously, we do not normally go to mass in the evenings on a Monday. I think it was Monday the 8th, and we went. I literally jumped off air my podcast, ran to mass, and for whatever reason, maybe because it was just like later in the day, I didn't do my usual prayer, meaning that I normally start my prayers with gratitude, what I'm grateful for, praying for everyone in the family. And this time, for whatever reason, I just went with just basically pleading for a missing piece and saying, essentially that everyone recognizes that there is something very wrong with this Charlie Kirk story, but I just feel like there's like a small piece of this thing missing. And I was just deeply praying for a missing piece. I just want you guys to know that was truly the backstory. I then go home after mass.
Oh my gosh, Elon Musk, you need to fix this.
I open my laptop and there are literally 50,000 emails in my tips box. That's the old box. That's not even more tips. That's the old inbox. And one just pops in, and it's from a woman, and she just writes, I really think that you should call my friend Mitch. He has a story that you're going to want to hear, okay? I never just, and someone drops a number, randomly call them. Obviously, I usually email back, and I'll say, please give me some indication of this or that. I don't know what came over me, but I was like, would this be an answered prayer? And I pick up the phone, and I call Mitch. And he's kind of startled. I don't think he was just maybe with this friend. And he's like, I can't believe I'm speaking to Candace Owens. And he then proceeds to tell me the story of how he was at Fort Huachuca Air Base dealing with an issue that happened 35 years ago when he discovered a cartel tunnel. And he happened to, and I want to be very clear here because this is important, there were only two people that he mentioned to me on the phone, and he felt absolutely certain that he saw them, okay? He said on the evening of the 8th, he saw who he then learned later on was Erica Kirk. He saw her at the Candlewood Inn and Suites on September 8th. She was with a younger guy who looked like he was in special forces. He talks about his watch. And the bigger thing for me was that the next day, he said that he saw this meeting that he accidentally stumbled upon what must have been a very important top brass meeting.
Mitch, the wife beater, yes.
Essentially described it as like there were 12 to 13 06s, and you don't see that much unless it's a very important meeting. And he described the meeting in military terms. The way that I understood it was basically, this is like final hands on deck. We're about to go on, and there's going to be a mission. And he stumbled into this building by a long set of circumstances. He was going to get a coffee. He didn't realize that JTF had gotten back together. He struck up a conversation because he recognized the patch of the 10th Mountain Brigade. And eventually they tell him, oh yeah, we're actually using this random offsite building. We're back together. It's now JTF Southern Border. And that's how he walked in. And at that moment, he was talking to people at the front desk. He saw Brian Harpole walking out of this meeting with somebody, and I'll tell you when we started talking about Mark Amadei, but he initially did not contact me about Mark Amadei or Cabot Phillips. I recognized Erica Kirk on September 8th, leaving the Candlewood Inn Suites on the base.
The former Green Beret that gets tied up by a 150-pound wife? Yes.
On the 9th, the morning of the 9th, the meeting was concluding at 7:30 a.m.
Yes.
Now, obviously, because the September 9th, the way that he described it was, first and foremost, this is like, we're about to do a mission. It's the day before Charlie Kirk dies. There's been a lot of speculation about Brian Harpole. He definitively has lied about things which are on my list. He lied about what they did to prepare for Charlie speaking, kind of showed the messages. He was a bit weird about that. I was going, okay, that's
so wait,
really
is she admitting that he's
compelling
lied to her?
Brian Harpole, because I'm running in my head, okay,
or is
obviously
that,
the Erica
is that
thing
the
could
other
be
guy?
interesting, but
It might be
that's
the
on
other
the
guy.
8th. Maybe Erica was with Dan Flood. I mean, she has security. It's Fort Huachuca. It's kind of in their, the Phoenix backyard. Maybe she's there for a different reason, picking something up. Her mother's sick. Her mother works in defense. Like, my mindset was just, the Brian Harpole thing is the most compelling piece for me, because I think he's been acting weird. And obviously I was not going to just assume that I should have him on the show before I went through some basic fact checks. I ran it up to some person that I trust very much, that is in government, that is in the military.
Who?
Asked him to vet the story. I mean, I was basically up all night dealing with this because I was going,
who did you vet?
And we are about to be able to assert definitively that Brian Harpole was there. So I did those sort of basic checks. And then it was December 9th. And I just told the story of what Mitch had told me. I did not mention Erica's name. That's very important, because I did not, again, think that that was necessarily relevant to the meeting that had happened on the 9th. And I wanted to speak about Brian Harpole, and I just said it was a blonde girl. Anyways, that's the 9th. On December 10th is the very next day is when Erica sat down with Harrison Faulkner on Fox News, and she addressed conspiracy theorists as sick and said that she wanted them to stop. And then suddenly I'm trending and people are like, well, she's basically saying that you need to stop. And I was like, okay, that's just weird. Then the next day on the 11th is when Barry Weiss used the snippet of the now infamous, stop, just stop, which the TikTokers went very crazy on. And I was like, okay, that is that was specifically obviously about me. It's like Barry Weiss said, the podcaster Candace Owens. And it kind of backfired, I would say, on the internet. And
no, it made you look like a retard.
Erica and I had a date to meet on that Monday. So that was Thursday. That's the stop, just stop snippet. Friday, I had no show. Sunday, I want to tell you this part because this is important. On December 14th, I received a text message from Ian Carroll. I hope he is in this chat. I'd like him to jump in case I get anything wrong here. But the text message was to me and my producer, and he was like, hey, like, I have something for you guys that I need to discuss. It's pretty urgent. When I got around to calling Ian, he told me that basically he had received information from someone. He didn't want to give me the name of the person.
She said she would stop if Erica told her to. And yeah,
Brian Harpole was preparing a huge lawsuit against me. And I was like,
oh, she's going to get sued. Oh, interesting.
I think he said like some big
That'd be funny.
Like, Texas lawsuit. I don't know what but like basically it was like, it's a big lawsuit and like, you're going to want to be careful talking about this. And I was like, okay, well, that just can't be accurate because that's not how lawsuits work. I know about lawsuits. And I said, I think someone's intentionally giving you bad information to try to scare me from talking about the Fort Huachuca thing anymore, because I hadn't yet hosted Mitch to tell a story. But I had indicated that like I might do more with Mitch, or I might pass him off to Ian Carroll. Next thing you know, Ian Carroll's getting a phone call and told that I'm about to get sued for mentioning Brian Harpole. So I thought that was like a little weird. And I basically said to Ian, I think, yeah, intentionally somebody gave you bad information. You first have to start with the cease and desist, and I don't factually know if what Mitch said was wrong. That ends. Monday is when Erica and I obviously had the sit down for 4.5 hours, and Turning Point kind of hosted a Q&A, which I thought was unfair and against the rules, I will say, because we agreed to not speak about anything. But that went on. Obviously, on the Tuesday, I came back and
It's not fair.
Actually, let's go back to the meeting with Erica, because this is also relevant. During that meeting, I did not bring up the Fort Huachuca thing because I, first and foremost, needed to continue vetting various aspects of it, but also I have Brian Harpole's number. And so I was just going to text Brian Harpole directly. But it is worth saying that during that interview, Erica gave me Brian Harpole's flights and said, like, I know that you mentioned that you thought Brian Harpole was at this interview. Here are his flights. Now, you guys would later see those flights because Alex Jones then mysteriously has these flights.
Because he probably asked for them. It's not mysterious to me.
Fort Huachuca, and I wasn't intending to bring up Fort Huachuca, and I hadn't mentioned Erica on the show. And I looked at them and I said, oh, well, this is not an alibi because the meeting ended at 7:30
At Johan_the_Marshall discovered Mom has milkers and gave $4.99. Good merciful God, Candace. We get it.
Like
you never let go of your left-wing roots.
Texas. So I was like, this does not
I will read the super chats later, but for now I'm going to turn off the noise just so that we can hear it all. Thank you, though.
It's a pretty short flight to Texas. So I said that, and that was it. And I said, thank you for giving me this, because now I can tell people that I have these flights, and also that he doesn't yet have an alibi for that morning. I just wanted to mention that because I feel like that's important. Anyways, obviously, when we went back on air on Tuesday, I recapped I was tired and just kind of went through kind of the high points.
She pretended she was doing, she was a Jewish grift then. I remember that. It was funny.
About Charlie's car, and that we actually had exclusive photos of what the inside of the car looked like. On Thursday, I made the decision to have Mitch on my show. And the reason why we made that decision is because we were then working in the background to verify other aspects of his story, and we were able to do that. I now felt beyond confident. He had sent me all of his metadata. He had sent me, as you guys already saw, his ID cards, his former passports, his new passports. He even sent me, now I can't say that this Mexican person was in the cartel, but his story was that he was being hunted by the cartel. He certainly had court documents documenting that a Spanish person had broken into his home and whatever had happened. So I believed him. I believed his story. I knew that he was a Green
Beret. That's very
Beret.
racist of you,
Candace.
I
verified that information right away, and I knew that he had stumbled upon this meeting, and he thought this is why they were pulling him aside. They may have thought something else, but it was substantially true. Everything he said was substantially true. Whether or not he saw Brian Harpole, I don't really know, right? Now, of course, the decision to have him on, I was aware that I could not say to him,
wait, so you don't? Oh, interesting.
If I was like, hey, tell your story, but let's not talk about the fact that you think 100% that you saw Erica. That would have just been inauthentic. And I feel like people know that, I don't know, you guys would have just sussed that out in 4 seconds. So I understood, obviously, that we were opening a can of worms because people were going to be compelled, obviously, by the fact that potentially Erica Kirk was on the base the evening before, if you will, on September 8th. But again, my main thing was Brian Harpole. During that time, as we were vetting his story, he described the congressman. He thought he was pretty certain that it was a congressman of some description. And he described him what he looked like, glasses, about the age, and he said the height was 5'9".
Chat, it is specifically the cartel.
Him photos of congressmen that we thought could fit the bill, just so you guys know this. And he was like, no.
Wait.
Amaday, and he's like,
she sent him pictures of people, and he was like, familiar. Yes, that person.
This could be the person.
Oh my
have
God.
You looked into his story?
Oh my God.
Do you think that this could be the guy? This is the first person that really looks like the guy.
That's
and
hilarious.
He said, is he 5'9"? And I Googled that, and it said he was 5'9". I actually think Google's wrong on that. I think his height is wrong. I will say that now. But it's important for you to know that he did not initially come to us with Amaday. We sent him photos. It was just Erica and Brian Harpole.
So she sent him photos and told him to pick one, basically.
We have him on, obviously, and he says both of the names. And what happened thereafter is what I can only describe as an explosion. I get contacted from somebody who's in DC, and they were very concerned and thought maybe somebody was feeding me bad information. And I was kind of interested in the phone call, not going to name the person, but was basically worried about your security and things like that. And I was like, I think we're good. We're just kind of vetting the story. Then on the 20th, and this is very interesting.
Funny joke there.
These two YouTubers, Valhalla and Paramount Tactical, reach out to Mitch. And they're being super nice to him. And they're saying, or one of them said, and I don't want to mix them up, but we have the video of it because Mitch is predisposed to paranoia. And he recorded them. And I'm going to drop the conversations. I'm happy to drop them after this live. They're so nice to him.
Oh, please drop the whole thing. Please, I want to listen to that too.
They're not questioning whether or not he was in the special forces. They're not saying anything weird. And they're actually saying to him that I may be under foreign influence. And I'm like, okay.
I believe that.
Are clearly not good guys. Or actually, the 20th is when he first told me that they had reached out to him and wanted him on.
Rewind it? No, this is a live. I can't rewind it.
I'll clear that up. But between the 20th and the 22nd is when they are suddenly calling him, and they're like, oh, we're just concerned about Candace. Okay, yeah, and you're gonna see in a couple of days he loses his mind and suddenly speaking to exes and baby mamas like he's Jerry Springer. But that was the nature of their phone call. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. I don't know these guys. And then on the 22nd, I get another phone call from Ian Carroll. Oh, he's here. I'm going to add you, Ian. add a speaker. I get another phone call from Ian Carroll, and this time Ian is like totally freaked as in like very concerned, because obviously like I have a good relationship with Ian Carroll, and to some degree he respects Valhalla. And he's like, look, I have this friend who's in the military. He has a YouTube channel, and he basically runs me through, and he's like basically saying that he wants to talk to me. And it was kind of said to me in a way that was like, if you don't kind of take this rope, like, and jump off of this Mitch train, like what's going to come out about Mitch is going to be explosive, and you're going to like go down on the ship. That's essentially the vibe that Valhalla was giving to Ian Carroll, and basically like kind of demanding to get on the phone with me. And I was like, and then he starts talking about, first he said stolen valor. Like he was never a Green Beret. I was like, he absolutely was a Green Beret. I sent that up the chain in the government. Like, that's just not true. And it felt to me like they were clearly being quite aggressive.
He's probably a Green Beret.
Speak to me
I'm still not that convinced.
Platform, talking about his like ex-wives. I was like, I don't care about any of this. And I said to Ian, this seems to me like they're trying to distract me with stupid stuff. Like, if he has something that is concrete that like Mitch somehow defrauded me or lied and did like definitively was not a Green Beret, then please just have him email it to me. And I said, and if he emails that to me, I will deal with it immediately. And I also made it clear to Ian that, because they were like, oh, then like she could get in trouble for fraud because she raised money for this guy and he wasn't even like a Green Beret. I was like, first off, he never asked me to raise money for him. So the idea that he was doing this to defraud me for money, that
I still believe he'll never see that money.
When I was live, I said I would do a give, send, go, because I said people were going to start digging up things. Like, I just had a feeling like I thought it would be other people, but I just felt like, oh, let's.
I still think that she's going to keep that money.
And I had that.
I'm not convinced
what he was going through. So that was natural. And not only that, but the very next day, which I will show on my show this week, Mitch sent me an email the day after I started the Give, Send, Go. The morning after, he sent me and Skylar an email and said, thank you so much for raising money, but I do not want to accept this money from you. And he was very self-deprecating. He was like, I'm just a fat, ugly man, and I just wanted to help, you know, and I don't deserve this. Like, I don't deserve this from the public. And then I called him and I was like, you know, Mitch, this is kind of stressful. Like,
then shut down the GoFundMe, please. If he doesn't want it, shut it down.
He was like, how about this? If the tip that I gave you proves fruitful, like if it's actually Brian Harpole or if it's Erica, then I will take the money. Otherwise, I don't want it. So he was never trying to get money from me. That whole, he's a fraud, he was trying to steal, like none of that is real. It's just completely made up. And again, I will drop the receipts of exactly when he emailed me the morning after. So yeah, that's what I said to Ian, and I was. He could
just. I don't.
About his background at all. I want to know if they have anything.
Unless she drops the whole conversation, I don't believe that this is real.
Post an update and say this guy completely tricked me with his metadata and everything. They were unwilling to do that. They did not want to do that.
Why does she keep mentioning metadata? That's when they started. Is she trying? I think I know what she's talking about, but that sounds so weird.
Son from 20 years ago. I don't know. I don't know, because I knew that it was an intentional trying to pull you, like they want to bring you down in mud so that you don't go forward, and you have to just focus on the facts. So that is the backstory of Fort Huachuca. We all then know what happens next.
She's on a Twitter space. Yes. When did this become a thing? It's always been a thing.
History. He's putting out all this information. Mark Amadei did. I do want to say, as an update, I scrubbed through looking for roll calls, and then somebody indicated to me that they see him in his chair. He missed the roll call for some reason, but early on in the video, I agree, it does look like Mark Amadei. So that might be, it could be him. And we're looking for somebody else who looks like Mark Amadei. And I also think his height is wrong on Google. I don't think he looks like.
Okay, so she's admitting it might actually be him.
So Mark Amadei might be completely like off the hook on that. And again, he wasn't the person that Mitch initially said we gave him that photo.
That's hilarious.
Now the Cabot Phillips thing is also very interesting.
Oh, it's right there.
I don't really care about, like, you know, Mitch's estranged relationship with his son. Like, I'm not interested. I'm not Maury. I'm not here to, like, bring families back together. But I tried to debunk him. I thought that was very easy to be able to debunk him with Cabot Phillips, because Cabot Phillips, he has a daily show at the Daily Wire. I think he does it maybe 3 times a week or something. But the Morning Wire, obviously, I worked the Daily Wire. And I was like, well, that's pretty simple. If you're saying that Cabot Phillips was here in Arizona, he actually lives here in Nashville and he has a show. Let me just go find him on his show. Well, it also turns out that Cabot Phillips, from September 4th all the way through to September 10th until September 11th, took a vacation and he wasn't on his show. So when I realized that, I did the right thing. I messaged Cabot Phillips. I sent him 2 messages asking if he could just answer whether or not he was there, because I don't want to throw, like, any shade his way. I had sent him, just to get to the Cabot Phillips bit, I had sent Mitch multiple photos of guys like this person. I thought maybe Dan Flood this. He's like, no. I gave him no context, but saw that Cabot Phillips was trending, and I had no idea he was one of Erica's exes. I sent him the photo, and he's like, that's the guy. That's the guy that was with her. And again, I'm now relying on Mitch's memory. I don't know what his facial recognition software is. If it's like mine, it's terrible. Okay, I can meet someone. Like,
oh my gosh,
just still not place their faces. But if it was my husband, he can meet someone once, and he's like, that's him. We saw him at the airport in New Jersey. You don't remember? And I'm like, of course I don't remember. Some people have it, some people don't. So I just wanted to try to confirm it. Cabot Phillips did not respond to me. Okay, you can say he's not required to respond to me. That's fine. I'm giving you the information. I would probably respond, like, just because it's such an easy thing to do. But that was interesting. I was compelled by that. He said that he thought the person was potentially a pilot or would have had pilots in his family, because Mitch said, I'm a watch guy, and I recognized his watch, and it's a watch that pilots wear. It's digital. It had a yellow button, whatever. Well, there's never been anything publicly about Cabot being in the military. So I was like, that seems wrong to me. And then sure enough, I dug up a post that his grandfather was, I don't know, like awarded high honors in the military and was an Air Force guy. So I was like, okay, well, that's another like interesting thing that's happening. I would like to look further into that. Now, in terms of people saying that, you know, Erica doesn't owe you an alibi, I didn't ask Erica for an alibi. So when suddenly I realized that Paramount Tactical was speaking with Andrew Colvett and she was providing an alibi to Andrew Colvett, well, then suddenly now, if you're going to provide an alibi, then let's provide an alibi. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy to just like communicate whatever that alibi is. I never demanded it privately. I didn't demand it in her face.
It is on the accusers to show without a shadow of a doubt what's going on.
Package, that doesn't necessarily put her.
She has shown nothing and said everything.
Mitch did say that the person who he thinks looks like Cabot Phillips was at that meeting the next day. So obviously that's interesting. Like, obviously, if we're investigating this, we should just, like, we could check it off the list and move on. I have messaged Brian Harpole, just so you guys know, thus far, I want to say 4 times, at least 3 times, asking him. Again, we can't say he was willing to give his flights, but doesn't want to also just give his metadata or a picture or something they took a text message at that time to clear his name. You either want to give an alibi or you don't want to give an alibi. You either are saying, I don't owe you an alibi, I don't want to answer at all. But if you're going to do something halfway, then you should provide a full alibi. Now, I will say that I had some communication. I did message also once the thing exploded with Andrew Colvett, because he's just getting on my nerves. Like, really, I have been so nice in terms of what I have told the public about things that Andrew Colvett told me. He's starting to like a little bit play with the bull, and we're getting real close. We're getting real close to me just saying, if you guys really think that I have not been fair, you will really recognize how fair I have been if he keeps pressing me. And I felt very pushed by that Paramount Tactical thing. These people are lunatics, blah, blah, blah. It's like, bro, send me a text, and I could have shut it down immediately. But you're like, I'm assuming you're also the person talking to Andrew. I mean, speaking to Alex, because Alex did say on his show that he spoke to Turning Point USA people, and like he had Brian Harpole's flight. So it's pretty obvious. It seems like they're working behind the scenes, and that's annoying me. It's annoying me a lot, actually. Anyways,
they're all working against me, chat. All of them.
Andrew Colvett was speaking with Paramount Tactical and being, I don't know, I guess, sort of denigrating what we were doing. I then was like, okay, let me text someone more responsible at Turning Point USA and ask, hey, do you guys want to give me an alibi? So I put Andrew Colvett and the COO in a chat, and I was like, hey, just figured we could have a direct line and you can just give me Erica's alibi and I'd be happy to publish it, because I'm not interested in like throwing mud on someone's name. I just want to get to the truth. That conversation was had yesterday, and they did give me an indication of what she was doing, which was making dinner for Charlie. I have asked for, you know, metadata to show that that it was, you know, Charlie that she was texting, and I'm still waiting for that. So the last conversation I had with them, I think that was yesterday, Sunday at around 1:00 p.m. ish, my time, Central, I think, and they said that Erica got busy with the kids.
This is suffering. I'm sorry, chat.
Something. So I'm still waiting on that. Just so you guys know that I have been responsible and speaking to the people directly, trying to get the information. Now,
understandable
Sam,
if you don't want to listen through this.
I'm going to let you jump in here. Actually, let's start with Harrison, because I would love to hear his side. I think it's you know, for the most part, he's done a lot of great work. He has not been feeding us a fed slop and telling us that Charlie had a magic neck, and it's good to hear from people who disagree with us. So Harrison, if you want to unmute yourself and jump in, that would be great.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I guess my whole thing is, why does this meeting even matter? Like, what is the actual claim that's being made here? That's been my confusion the whole point, the whole time, is like, okay, let's say that there's absolute proof, you know, photographic evidence that everything Mitch Snow says is true. Like, who cares? I mean, what does that prove? What is the actual accusation? Who do you think was conspiring with who to do what?
Yeah.
And I think, you know, obviously the name of the episode was, you know, the day before Charlie Kirk was murdered. The
that guy got nothing.
is that this was a assassination planning meeting, which I don't even see any evidence of that. And then people I'm arguing with online are saying, no, this has nothing to do with the assassination.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess, you know, if the space is why this matters.
Is it a call? No, it's a Twitter space. You have to ask
like,
to
what
talk.
Is the claim being made? I still don't even understand that.
So it matters because why would Brian Harpole be on Fort Huachuca at all, right? It matters because he's giving an alibi, which means he doesn't want to be associated. Like, it could have easily not mattered, kind of, to speak to your credit. He could have been like, yeah, I was at Fort Huachuca with my brother, and my brother's in the military. I was dropping off some food. Okay, like, that could have been then suddenly a dead end. That would have been nothing. Now, because Mitch had described this as a top secret meeting in an off-site building, and had described this as top brass at the Pentagon, and said that these sorts of meetings, and I am forgetting the military term, are when you're just about to embark on like a mission. I know I really uneducated, but military guys will sound better saying that. It was compelling. Like, okay, like I said, Brian Harpole was acting funny. He's been acting weird. He's been telling verifiable lies, and he cared enough to present an alibi, meaning he didn't want people to think he was there, right? So if you have to give someone an alibi, it's because you don't want people to think that you're there. An alibi is not needed if there's nothing to hide. So that's why it matters. I think that's why it matters. And this reaction, rather than being forthcoming, is why it suddenly feels like, okay, this is important, because
my reaction is based off of her history. Oh, yeah, cool. She sounds insane.
It also
that's my reaction.
It's an intel base.
Candace, I know your past.
He was telling the truth about exactly what building it was. I didn't name the building on my show because I wasn't sure if that would be like a national security problem, but it just happened to be that JTF was borrowing that offsite building, and it was supposed to be a top secret meeting for those purposes. Somebody that was involved in blacking out the windows had sent us a tip. Again, it's how people are reacting to the meeting that lets us know that it's important.
Oh my gosh,
okay.
That is insane.
Now,
I guess
regarding the hotel, I never said it was important. Like I said, my perspective was there's 1,000 different reasons that she could have been at that base. Her mother has a contract, or had a contract, has a contract with the DOD. Erica has been.
That sounds.
Her mother's ties to the military.
Oh, the meeting's not important. You guys are the ones making it important.
Arizona, because her mother had a contract with the military. So again, weird thing is when Andrew's like, Erica wasn't in some fort, as if he's never heard of Fort Huachuca. His brother is in the military. His brother is a Captain Curtis.
When Alex Jones tells you to chill, you're being retarded. I agree.
Her cousin is Captain Robert Colvett. So that kind of a language is why I've named this, why it suddenly really matters, right? It was sort of one episode. I didn't exactly dedicate a whole series to it. The reaction has been so almost like violently obsessed that the public is now going, oh, okay, well, it feels like there's something here. I think that's just sort of our natural instinct.
Okay. I mean, I think if you're saying that somebody is somewhere and they weren't there, then providing the alibi is not in and of itself suspicious. If the alibi is not confirmed, I guess you can be suspicious of that. But again, there's still not an answer. Like, okay, let's just say you're right. Let's just say that absolutely they were there.
Yeah.
What does that prove? What is the accusation? Because what it sounds like, and I mean, what the insinuation obviously is that this was a planning meeting for the assassination, and the people there had pre-knowledge of the assassination and were therefore in on it. So I think that if you are making that accusation,
thank you. He is asking the right questions.
Saying, okay, Erica Kirk and the head of TPUSA security were at this pre-assassination planning meeting.
Erica was there, so you guys have to stop repeating that. It's Erica was never at that meeting. And that's another, like, I've never said Erica was at the meeting. Mitch has never said Erica was at that meeting. There was never an indication. I
swear
that she wasn't even.
Excuse me.
On December 9th, it was Brian Harpole who was at that meeting. To my knowledge, Brian Harpole.
Is she walking? I swear she said that she claimed that Erica was there in some way.
What I can tell you is, if he was there, Turning Point doesn't know he was there.
What?
According to
this woman don't want to get sued.
Justin Strife, who I sat down.
This woman's trying not to get sued right now.
Turning Point has him on their payroll, and they've outright purchased a security firm, and they don't know what he's doing on an intel base. Yeah, it matters, and we don't need to know the conclusion to follow the clues.
Bro,
there's this fashionable thing.
Oh my gosh, this is why I hate her so much.
You're saying we don't know the.
Oh, I never said that. I never said that.
Works.
Well, you
have
can
to follow the thing that's the lie. We have to follow. Okay, this guy said he was here. He wasn't. What does that mean? I don't know what it means yet. I don't know what it means yet.
Bro,
what I'm saying is the reaction to this is not normal. Brian Harpole shouldn't be on an intel base if Turning Point doesn't know about it. And he's presented an alibi that doesn't actually cover where he was, but he felt it necessary to give an alibi. So, I don't know, interesting, and I think we have a right to think. So
I'm not retarded, am I, chat? I swear she said that before.
Let somebody else jump in right here. I think, is that okay, Harrison, or do you want to just have a final thought there?
Sure. Okay. So Erica Kirk was not there. You don't believe that Erica Kirk was there at all.
She wasn't there on the 9th. She was not seen on the 9th. It's not about whether I believe she was there. She wasn't seen on the 9th. That was never said. He never said it.
I hate that, how she's saying. Oh my gosh.
She was seen on the 8th.
Yes. And not at the Intel meeting, not in the Intel.
Oh, she was there, just not. Oh my gosh.
Whatever building they were using. She was not seen with the top brass, nothing like that.
So the pre-assassination planning meeting happened on the morning of the 9th. She was seen in the area on the afternoon of the 8th, but those were unrelated. She just happened to be there.
They are related because of the person she was with, who he believes looks like Cabot Phillips. He did see that person at the meeting on the 9th.
Okay, so you are saying that basically these people were there to conspire to kill Charlie Kirk, right?
I mean, you can keep saying what you're saying, or you can listen to what I'm saying. But if you want to just say what you're saying, just say
oh my gosh, then why does it matter?
I'm saying, right? It's easier.
Oh, I hate this woman so much.
Okay, hi, I'm Harrison. What I'm saying is that in 2 months, nobody is going to remember the name Mitch Snow or Fort Huachuca, and this is not going to go anywhere, and that this is a nothing burger. I just think it's an absolute nothing burger that's not going to lead anywhere. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. You can prove me wrong, but again, my whole thing has always been that this devolves into this question of like, was he there? Was he not there? And the whole time I'm just going, what does it matter? If the conclusion is that he's a complete liar, it's the exact same outcome as proving that these people were actually there, because so far you haven't connected it to the assassination in any way whatsoever, except that maybe this guy thinks that he saw people that are around Charlie Kirk. And my whole point is, obviously the insinuation is, I mean, again, when you're saying Erica Kirk was there, but not actually there on the day, but in the area, but not because of the assassination meeting, but it's like, okay, clearly the insinuation is that these people had something to do with the assassination, and you can make that claim or not, or pretend that you are, or pretend that you're not, but you obviously are. But like, that's all. I don't really care about any of that.
Thanks,
but you have to.
Thank you. Let's skip somebody. I think just clearly and obviously.
He was going too long, in my personal opinion. He was going too long.
I'm following this investigation. Charlie was assassinated. I'm going to take.
Also, chat, just to let you know, I have listened to every podcast that this woman has put out.
I cannot say
within the last couple of weeks.
I can say that I have a feeling about this meeting.
I had multiple hours while doing my overtime for work.
And he's lying about
I've listened to her.
And that's not good. It's not a good thing, because there's no reason to lie unless you have something to hide. But thank you so much for your feedback. I appreciate that. And hope to speak in the future. I'm going to...
That is beautiful.
Allow Ian, did you want to jump in here?
I'm glad that he said that. Just like, how the fuck does this connect at all? Why are you talking about it?
Depends on what you want to talk about. I had to jump in late. I was in a different meeting when I got some text messages of like, yo, get in here.
I'm out of ammo.
Oh, yeah. I was just mentioning, I was giving the timeline and just telling people when you and I had the call, and you were kind of just trying to give me a heads up about, Valhalla, I think it was Valhalla, right? That wanted to speak with me about Mitch, and that his backstory was stolen valor. I wasn't sure if I got something wrong, but I thought it was Valhalla, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of people that have been trying to get a hold of you. I'm like a regular conduit for people trying to get a hold of you. You know how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, definitely there's been, it was once things started to fire up, people were starting to talk about like what they saw as holes in Mitch's story.
Yeah.
And it's been very interesting to watch how that has evolved on channels like Paramount Tactical, especially.
Yeah, and now I don't know if it's evolving or devolving.
Yeah.
But
I do want to say, though, real quick, though, is that I was expecting Valhalla to go way more off the rail. Like, he definitely voiced his opinion when he did his episode with all of his evidence. He definitely came out hot and voiced his opinion. But I actually was pleasantly surprised by how Valhalla did that, in the sense that based on what he knew and the source that he had, he condemned what he saw as what Mitch was and what Mitch's actions were. But he also didn't I felt glad that he didn't overstep himself and kind of blow up on you too hard and try to over extrapolate what he was showing. But I also have been watching what other people have been bringing out about Mitch since then that seemed to make me question whether what Valhalla had was the whole story. So I'm just kind of sitting back and watching.
And that was also another thing. I think that's a good point, Ian, is like people that were pretending that they were speaking to like his baby mamas and his son that he hasn't spoken to since he was 2, by the way. So if he hasn't spoken to him since he was 2, the implication is his son knows his father through his mother. That's like what happens when you don't speak to your father since you were 2. But it is interesting that they didn't do any background checks on the women, who then I saw, and I didn't want to again get dragged down in the mud, but like they had accused a few men, but they stayed away from that. It was like no, like this is what's out there about Mitch, and that's why I was saying to you, like I was like this feels to me like a way to distract from what I basically am trying to do, which is I feel like I'm the only one that's actually trying to debunk Mitch.
Okay.
Going to Brian Harpole.
But like, why does it matter that he was there?
Something I'm happy for this to be wrong. Whereas everyone else seems to just be trying to distract. I do want to let's do Ryan and then Isabella, and then we'll do Diligent Denizen. I think that's right.
Diligent, actually, his app kicked him down. You should re-add him.
I did.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, Candace, I'm just jumping in here listening right now, so I'm going to hang out for a minute, and then I'll jump in at the end.
Cool. Awesome. Isabella, did you want to jump in here?
Yeah. Hi. Thanks for having me up here. It's been a lot of debate going on with this, and I think Harrison did bring up some good points, and I've been really interested in the drama between you and Evan, and I'm curious, so Morgan and Evan are friends, and did she just randomly reach out to you and let you know this? Because that's a little shady on her part with Evan.
No, she didn't. She actually did it by accident. So she, I don't know her at all. I think she's had a pretty good opinion about stuff, and she's definitely kind of been one of the early people on saying how she was treated when she started talking about Israel. And so I think what happened was we should definitely separate Evan from Israel, Evan from Morgan. Morgan kind of, it seemed weird because it was like nothing happened, and then they both kind of wrote these statements.
You got to separate him from Israel.
You have to, break up with anybody on X that you can just just not agree with something. I don't know. I never feel like the need to write like a very long statement if I disagree with something, a commentator that I'm listening to. I'm like, kind of like I listen to. Yeah. Like, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I'm never like, for a long time, I've really loved Matt Walsh, but his take, it's like, I don't know. So I think it seemed a little extra to people on the outside that were looking in. And it was at the same time. And so I messaged her and I was like, I follow you. You could just message me if you thought some part of your story wasn't real. And I sent her some docs about the cartel person. I was like, he sent me so many docs that like his story is real. Like, I don't, this happened. Here are the medals he received. I obviously did my due diligence.
Why wasn't any of it posted?
She said, thank you. And then she was sending me a clip of, it was just a clip of Paramount Tactical. And I think she was sending it because she was like, oh, look what his son is saying. But actually, I found it interesting because the son then confirmed the story, like that he was on Fort Huachuca Air Base. And she didn't realize that when she screen recorded.
I should say, I don't doubt he wasn't on that base because of the silly police report that she said.
So I think it was just
I just doubt what he said that he saw.
Okay, it looked weird that you both posted this, and now it looks like you're kind of coordinating it. And I think people felt it was coordinated because it's not a natural thing to do. Now, Evan,
I just don't believe that he saw what he saw, basically.
Because he's just lying. Like he's like, this has been debunked. It hasn't been debunked. He's like defending Alex Jones and saying, oh, Alex Jones did say that, you met your husband through PJW. I'm like, no, he didn't say that. So he seems like he's being intentionally dishonest about stuff. She kind of just made one statement. Timing was a bit weird. Yeah, that's kind of how that happened.
Interesting. Okay. And then something else, like with what Evan is claiming, it kind of just reminds me of, there's a man that's coming into prominence, and then you see a bunch of women come out, Me Too. It's like, okay, maybe Mitch is not maybe he's not correct, maybe he's lying, but he does seem to have more evidence supporting what he's saying than these random disgruntled women. So I'm not saying that it's incorrect, that they're wrong, but I feel like we should be remembering that, hey, this is what these like women do, and the government will get behind them and kind of push them to say these Me Too things to discredit people. So
right, and the thing is and correct me if I'm wrong, but like there were no convictions, so it feels like we're getting involved in somebody's divorce and somebody's like, man, like it's just not my business.
It's always messy.
It's not my business. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry to say that I don't care, but I don't care. I care about who killed Charlie Kirk. I care about whether what he said he saw in court goes real or not. And every other piece of the story checked out. Like I got the military police report, so this just feels like mud, you know? And like I said to Ian, I said, look,
if it has nothing to do
buddy Gary
with the murder, why is it being brought up?
9 seasons, let him do it. You know, everybody
my problem.
has to follow like what is their passionate life. And I was like, I just personally don't care. And so I encourage everybody who is feeling passionately against Mitch to go down that rabbit hole. I am focused on what happened that day, and thus far, nothing Mitch has said to me has not checked out. And even they won't even admit that they lied about some stuff in the past. Like when Ian was contacted, they were like, it's stolen valor. He wasn't a Green Beret. And then they like casually admitted.
I'm willing to believe he's a Green Beret.
But I'm embarrassed.
I don't know why the website of his didn't mention it though.
Email and their allegations, but we're not going to mention all the allegations that exist with these women. Like that just feels like, it does feel like Me Too. And I'm just not interested in it. Morgan just actually jumped on. So I do want to add her as a speaker. And Morgan, you sort of missed maybe some of this, but I did just sort of run people through what happened and kind of said, like, I kind of view what you and Evan did to be different. And, I think for everybody, it was just sort of the timing of you guys, like, and the style of needing to announce it, I think was a bit different. And I think that's why you kind of got the reaction that you did. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to have the floor and say what you wanted to. Morgan?
Oh, hi. I didn't know that you were talking to me. I'm sorry. How are you?
Yeah,
how is everybody?
good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for giving me the floor, because there's been so much freaking drama in the last couple of days, and everybody, I feel like, has been trying to pit us against one another for some reason, and I keep reiterating, I have no issues with Candace. I'm still 100% on board with the investigation. I have my reservations about Mitch, and I feel like I should be able to voice those concerns. And I know that a lot of people don't care about his past or his history.
Whoa, what just happened there? Hold on. What just happened? All right, we're going to join back in.
Now
there it goes.
It's he said, she said. He said that he saw people there, and we can only take his word for it. And when you have every single person in his life, not only the exes, but his children, who he's never had custody of any of them, they all say the same thing, that he's a pathological liar. I have trouble trusting an individual like that, and I just want to make sure that we stay on track.
No, that's the problem. It's just like, yeah, I don't trust him because of everything that's going on.
I think what I would offer back is that's what we have been doing. So rather than speaking to his son, I contacted people on the base. You know, like, okay, he said that somebody named Neff, which is what he said initially in contacting me, Captain Neff, was the one who questioned him. So rather than speaking to his son from 22 years ago, I think the people would say, why don't you speak to somebody who's on Fort Huachuca base now and see if there's a Captain Neff there? And that's what we did. And we confirmed that Captain Neff and the 10th Brigade was there. He said it was in an offsite building, a JTF offsite building. We spoke to people at the base, and they told us this is the exact building. Here's where it is in the map, and they are borrowing the space. He told us that this incident happened and the bomb dogs were called. So I made an effort and successfully got the police report. That's how we verify whether or not he's a pathological liar, is by verifying what he said, right? And so that's why
the police report where he got arrested for having a bomb in his backpack, or they thought he did. Excuse me.
Brian Harpole 3 times. He wanted to give an alibi in the sense of like giving flights for 3:42 that afternoon. Okay, so what's stopping you from giving us what you're doing at 7:30 a.m., right? Like that kind of is what's weird. It's like you give half an alibi that doesn't matter, but you don't want to give the full thing. You don't want to just message me and say, hey, just so you know, that wasn't me. So that's what we're actually doing, is trying to verify the last thing, which is just like really his memory. He did tell the truth. He told the truth about everything.
Yeah, Internet Master, I saw that comment and I was like,
the last thing is, does he have a good facial memory?
Well, I don't think I can offer you that, sir.
We've not been able to, and I am in the process, as I said, of speaking with Turning Point USA. we haven't yet gotten a clean answer from people who have indicated that they do want to give an alibi, right? Because Andrew Colvett is messaging Paramount Tactical with an alibi. Well, I'm your girl. I'm the only one I think that's trying to debunk Mitch.
Listen, do you know why people won't give you
alibi,
information? It's because you're insane and you've burnt every bridge that you've come across.
I guess my concern is like,
there's a reason why nobody's giving her shit.
Any alibis, then what happens? Does this just stay open-ended and then
she's a horrible person?
The main focus.
Well, they did. That's the point, and that's why this is now. That's why I named this. Why it suddenly really matters.
Nobody's
right?
giving me shit. Everybody must be lying then.
Like, well,
that's what she's doing.
Because it's so stupid. Then we're like, okay, well, maybe he's just wrong, and that would be what it was. He would just be wrong. He wouldn't be a liar because he was where he said he was, you know. And the people that were there, and Captain Neff was whatever. But they did give an alibi, so they do care. Right? They cared enough to give it to like obscure YouTubers, which is kind of random. Like it's like, okay, why?
Yeah, because I wouldn't give it to you. I'll be honest. Yeah, I wouldn't give it to you.
Orchestrating an alibi shows that Erica cared because she's showing her metadata. So wouldn't the common sense thing to be, if you care that much, rather than going through obscure YouTubers, like wouldn't you just go direct to Candace and be like, hey, I saw you did an episode on this. Like, here's
nobody's gonna go to the woman that's been slandering them for like the last little while. What do you mean?
I would have published it immediately.
Right. I wonder if say Erica does provide something, are people going to be are they going to accept that from her?
I would, and I would end it. Like
oh my gosh.
Like my goal is not to look stupid.
I
right?
bet
so, like,
you guys, Diamonds and Donuts.
Like an alibi, and she's like, here's where
Erica already probably
like,
has processed and showed something,
like,
and it's just not good enough for her.
Like it wasn't her. Thanks, Mitch. Like it was a different blonde. Like we've been very open to that, and I said that 1,000 times on the show.
I doubt that she'll be okay with it.
You either have really good memory when you see faces, or you have a bad memory like I do when I see faces. I don't know Mitch, so I don't know, but he was pretty detail oriented about the watch and little things. And I think beyond anything else, the reaction when Andrew Colvett is wheeling and dealing behind the scenes, it then makes things really compelling, right? If he didn't get caught on that live, I probably would be neutral. I did one episode on this. Everybody's acting like I've done like becoming Brigitte. You know what I mean? Like we've been investigating the Charlie thing. We've covered so many things. I do one episode on Mitch, and everyone's like, "No, like we gotta talk to his high school classmates. We gotta talk." It's like, dude, like everybody calm down. I'm getting threats of lawsuits in the background. So like Ian was like,
yeah, because of defamation.
I gotta talk to you before your next episode. Is what his text was, because they were putting pressure on him to get me to stop reporting on this. They didn't want me to even interview Mitch.
Oh.
So I just find that to be compelling. Like, what is this panic about? Especially because you could end it in 4 seconds by just messaging me and being like, here you go.
Yeah, well,
again, why would they message you when you are like
turning point this far? Yeah. And they could put a lot of things to rest, but they keep gaslighting. So
yeah,
hopefully they do. I still don't trust Mitch, but that's just where I'm at with it. And yeah,
that's fine. Yeah, and I want to say, like, I'm totally chill with that. Like, I by the way, like if I was running like the Bachelor show, I would get it. Like, you know, but I'm not asking people to marry Mitch. I'm asking people to trust me enough to have done my due diligence to tell you that he was where he says he was.
I don't.
And
I believe.
Yeah.
I do want to interject and say I do believe that he's there, that he was there.
I mean,
I can believe he is there.
Other reason, because he didn't ask to come on my show.
I don't believe that he saw this meeting.
Like, he literally had his friend send me an email saying, like, this is something that you should know. And then I asked him to come on the show.
I feel like she's walking it back again.
Live said, you know, I wanted to raise money, and then he, which you missed, Morgan, said to me, I don't want the money the very next morning, and said, if the tip ends up working and it helps you solve the murder of Charlie, then sure. But I don't, you know, I'm not in this for money. I'm just like a fat, old, ugly guy. So like the whole idea of him doing this for money or doing this for fame just doesn't.
If he doesn't want the money, then you should take down that GoFundMe, you know, if she hasn't already.
Center dealing with him. Yeah. Do I think he's like paranoid? Do I believe that he probably hasn't been like the #1 father in life? Sure. That's just not my business, you know. It's just genuinely not my business.
Yeah, I don't know. I try to look at things from a biblical lens, and you know, you have to judge people by their fruit. And if all your fruit is rotten, then I have trouble believing anything that you
Amen.
Yeah, but I also think that you should judge the women the same way. You know,
if everybody's saying the same thing and it's just one person, like, you're not the victim.
I didn't say it was big. I'm just saying that, like, you know,
No, I'm sorry,
that's
not
like
you,
you know,
him.
you know where I'm at on the Harvey Weinstein stuff. Like, there were like 3,000 women, and I don't think he raped a single one. So I don't accept that argument. Like, I think we just disagree on the Me Too
Yeah,
stuff.
but he's
you know?
like a nobody. That's different than Harvey Weinstein.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know that about her. Holy crap.
I just think, I don't know. I just like to hear both sides of a story when it comes to like allegations against men, whether they're famous.
She just said that she didn't believe that Harvey Weinstein was guilty.
I always have to hear both sides.
Holy shit, I've not heard that conspiracy.
I didn't want to hear Mitch's side about his ex-wife. I didn't want to hear her side about him. It's just not my business. But thank you, Morgan. And I hope that clarifies everything. And like, you know, I'm glad that you're a part of the conversation, and you have every right not to believe Mitch.
Yeah, thank you. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. Mel, would you like to jump into the foray?
Yes, thank you so much for having me real quick. So I just want to say, you know, I get everybody's kind of hesitation with Mitch. Having been married to a Green Beret, having been around the military my entire life, I have seen all of this, all of it. Okay. So I was a lot like you, Candace. I was like, I actually don't care. I don't care about any of the background, anything like that. All I know is that this man has made very specific allegations against very specific people.
Yep.
With a time
Yep.
and a date.
Yep.
This is very easy to debunk. Very easy, right? He actually, in a way, set you up that could have made you look like a fool. And now we are about 2 weeks out, and these people are, again, using random YouTubers, funneling weird, bizarre alibis, kind of quasi non-denials through these weirdos, right? And we haven't gotten to the thing. Hey, all you have to do is say straightforward, I was not there. I was not in.
They have.
On this
they
date.
have.
This is not complicated. And again,
oh my
Candace
gosh.
Owens is not a random person, okay? She's just not. She's not somebody with a small following. So people can say, well, they don't have to answer her. Well, that's fine.
Oh my
But they
goodness.
clearly care, okay? And when you have a large following and you get accused, or not even accused, because Candace hasn't accused, but when this comes out on someone's huge following, you answer it. You just do, okay?
My
If you have an
broski.
easy alibi, you just freaking do. I'm so sick of this pretending like, well, I don't have to answer all this crap.
Right.
No,
It is
actually,
stupid.
you do. Okay? Sorry.
They're
but
not
you
being
do.
accused of
'Cause you
crimes.
guys
No,
have
they
been
don't.
weird about everything from the get-go. Okay?
Well, I
And
want to make it
everything
known, I don't
about
care about
Harvey's murder
TPUSA
is
or
weird,
anything, but this is not
okay?
how
I
the
think
law
weird
works.
is the one word that we can all agree on.
Right.
Right?
Holy
And now,
shit.
I have looked into the NAR and Turning Point Faith and just the shadiness, the total shadiness surrounding this organization, which again is not its own organization. It is, in fact, an appendage of TPUSA, which means it is TPUSA. It's not like TPUSA Action, which is its own organization. People I don't think, really quite grasp the significance of that, of TPUSA Faith being an appendage of TPUSA. But so I know all of the like shenanigans that they've been involved in. So when I heard about this originally, I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. Now, I don't quite know what that meeting means. I know Harrison wants some very hard, like, wants us to make allegations, and
he wants us to make a mistake, you know, more than anything else.
Well, I don't, hold on. Why would I want you,
here, like, you know, like,
why would I want you to make a mistake?
I don't know if you want me to make a mistake, but I know you have pressed pretty hard for, I want you to make a definitive statement, and nobody's ready to make that, actually. Here's what I know. These are the things I know. I presented those to you last night, and then you came back at me with, what, so you're going to accuse me of being paid for? Which was really bizarre to me, because I felt like I was pretty patient and not accusatory at all. Regardless, I'm not even going to go into that, but
well, okay, no. I'll go into it for a second. You said that I was pretending to forget that Charlie Kirk was moving away from Israel, and I was saying the weird thing was by me saying, look, I don't get what this whole meeting is even supposed to be about, or why it would be suspicious, or how it connects to the assassination in any way whatsoever, and that is somehow extrapolated to be I somehow think that the official story of Charlie Kirk's murder is true. I'm saying I don't
I
think
didn't
Well, then
say
if you don't know, Harrison, then you can just keep watching the show. Like, you're not required to, like, you know, like, if you're not sure where it's gonna go, like, that's kind of the point of just like we're all kind of investigating this together. You know what I mean? We've been crowdsourcing this investigation. We have smaller pieces, and the smaller pieces become bigger pieces.
Right.
You know, do I know what it means that there are these like little flecks of what looks like there's plastic on the ground of the vehicle that Charlie was carried in after? No. It could mean somebody smashed their phone. It could mean somebody smashed their sunglasses. It could be one of the theories is like, oh, look, the ADSB exploded. I don't know. You're like demanding, what is it? It's like, I don't know. I just got the picture, man. Like, you know, and so I think your energy is just, frankly, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, but like, it's a little lame, I guess is a nice way to say it. It's just pretty lame to like try to put this like unnecessary pressure or make it seem like it's weird that we have questions about why Brian Harpole would be at an intel base if he's actually there. Like, what do you get? What do you mean? It's giving Ben Shapiro, you know? You never want to
I need a nap.
Just wait. You just want to wait.
Yeah,
and,
if you
like,
can't
see
stick
where I
around
land.
because
If
of
I
the
start
insanity,
making
I get
allegations
it.
that
This
are
is mostly
factually
just
untrue,
so that
or
I
if
have a
don't
copy
get
of it for
something,
myself.
If I go somewhere and it ends up being a dead end, then I would understand that energy. Like if, like, you know, Erica did hand me her perfect alibi, and I was like, well, I'm not going to say it.
I'm gonna
I
grab my water
put it
here.
out there. But
Obviously,
I was actually really
it doesn't
hesitant
pause,
to put
so
Mitch on the show.
give me like 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
You know, I wanted,
Like,
he
right
was
near
like
my bed.
100% certain it was Erica. He was 100% certain it was Brian Harpole, you know? But I wanted to be very careful about how I went about things. And so I think that we just don't appreciate, like, people that actually care and are standing up to the feds right now, unnecessarily being sort of tossed to the wolves by, like, your perspective, which is like, if you don't have a perfect narrative and it's not neat and buttoned down, then don't speak. Like, no, guys, keep speaking, keep asking questions. And if you're on this, like, listening right now, you're going to get things wrong, and that's okay. Just you have the courage to say you're wrong. And that's what I do. I always do that. I just say, you know what? I thought this, it's actually wrong. Let's pivot.
Okay. I mean, I don't know where you're getting this idea that I'm saying don't do research or anything like that. I am confused why it's been a week of talking about this meeting and I still am not even.
You guys are the ones talking about it.
Because it's been
what? What people are talking about it because you.
I know, but it's been. I know.
You brought it up.
On InfoWars, calling me a fraud, this, that, saying my husband's an MI6. Like, what do you mean? Why is this a conversation? Because you won't let it go. I had him on the show. That was it. You know, we were investigating things behind the scenes, like, you know, reaching out, like, he had already reached out to people for alibis before I even had him on. You know, like, hey, this guy said this, whatever. And then all of a sudden you guys every day are obsessing over it and making up lies. Like, you guys are the reason it's big. Like, respectfully, like, this is the work of you and Alex Jones and Paramount Tactical and Baby Mamas from 2000s. Like, you know, you guys made it a thing. You guys made fetch.
As a
You
friend
know what
of
I mean?
both sides, can I hop in and mediate real quick? With
Yeah.
Because I think that a lot of people come at this journalism from different angles because, and obviously I can't speak for either of you, but Harrison does more of reporting on what's already happened, and Candace tends to make her career out of reporting on trying to figure out what is the next end of the story. And you guys, you know, you both stray into both lanes. But also I want to draw the distinction that Harrison has not been making all the same claims as Alex all the time. Alex is definitely a distinct voice from Harrison, and I've always really respected Harrison. I'm not saying that I actually disagree with him on this take, but I do think that he's not the whole InfoWars crew, and the whole InfoWars crew isn't Alex Jones, and Harrison's reporting hasn't been the same as Alex this whole time.
Right.
But also I think there might be a little bit of coming at investigations from different angles from the nature of the journalism that you guys both do.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But I think we've been pretty fair. Personally, I definitely have been fair as far as like not conflating Harrison and Alex. And for like reasons I can't, because I feel like I've been pretty straightforward about why I think the Huachuca thing is important. I do think that things were happening behind Charlie's back.
Yeah.
We know.
I don't think we're going to disagree on that.
So even if you don't think like, oh, this is, and again, I actually don't think this was a like murder planning session. I actually think that personally, and I'm gonna just throw it out there.
Can I get Candace to say that, please?
Happened in Korea. I think that there were weird things that happened in Korea. We do know that Pastor Son was arrested the day after Charlie leaves Korea. I think that there were some weird things that were going on, and I think that Charlie wanted to maybe step back from the role that TPUSA Faith was playing in this kind of global foreign policy, forward apparatus that his organization was being used for.
And by the way, I can tell you guys that like Rob McCoy and Charlie did not love Rob McCoy. That whole speech about him being his pastor, he had voiced his concerns about Rob McCoy. And so again, the broader consideration here is that Turning Point USA is just telling a lot of lies, and you don't tell a lot of lies. The whole world got behind Turning Point USA when Charlie got shot. Like there wasn't a single person who was not rooting for Turning Point USA.
We're blaming Koreans now? Yes.
On September 11th. Okay. And now we're at a place where it actually feels like the whole world is rooting against Turning Point USA, right? Well, the TikTokers are not liking Erica.
Whose fault do you think that is, Candace?
They feel like, I'm sorry, but are we going to pretend that
not the whole fault, but whose partial fault do you think that is?
Tense of like where somebody died, like I don't know, that's weird. And so,
and I do agree that is weird. I do think that how TPUSA acted, like
something's off
in the aftermath, was weird.
That is off, and
I'm not going to disagree with that.
That is definitely off. Okay, like he is like off the chain.
For those that need a reminder, I think both sides suck equally.
Way too many lies, and there would be no reason to lie when you have the whole world on your side rooting for you. Why are you lying?
Well, since you mentioned Andrew Colvett, Candace, if I may jump in,
sure.
And to address Harrison, and one of the things that I remember that I keep in mind throughout this entire investigation is, in an investigation, details matter, but you don't know what details matter until you investigate them.
Right.
And when this, and as an outside observer on this particular story, the Fort Huachuca story, all of a sudden I've been airdropped this detail that one of the top members of Charlie Kirk's security detail is at an Army intelligence base the day before Charlie's assassination. Now, that's a detail. I don't know what it means.
The thing about Charlie is Charlie was kind of lukewarm too.
But that's
why it was so insane what happened.
Because Brian Harpo's job is to protect Charlie Kirk.
Right.
Like, he was not extreme, in my personal opinion. He was just anti-trans and anti-gay, or mostly anti-gay, I would say.
Assassinated. So, like, this is an important detail. What is one of the top members of the security detail doing at an Army intelligence base the day before? It might not mean anything, but maybe it means something. What does it mean? I don't know. I have to investigate it. Now, how does Andrew Colvett come into this? I'm reminded of the fact that he told you, Candace, that you and Tucker were on some list and possibly in danger. Well, so now I'm thinking in my mind, well, maybe he was at some sort of security briefing. Maybe they had some intel that people were in danger. Maybe that's what he was doing there.
He was called a genocide apologist. I have not heard that.
It has to be investigated. It has to be sussed out. It could mean something. It might not mean anything. But
I knew more about this man after his passing than I did before.
No problem with him there.
And the fact that he was trolled by
from my own perspective as an outside
by
observer,
Nick Fuentes,
I've been
which is why he wasn't allowed to be
this detail, which has now mushroomed. It's like a big mushroom cloud now. For several days, it's run wild. People on all sides fighting over it. It's become a thing, and now I have to grapple with this thing. Does it mean anything? Does it not mean anything? How can I verify it? And I'm at the mercy of Mitch's recollection. I'm at the mercy of the TPUSA folks.
That's a bad mercy to be part of.
And Brian Harpole. And I'm faced with a situation now where they've turned it into something bigger than it needed to be, if indeed it is nothing. It's nothing. All they had to do was debunk it.
She made it just as bad, in my personal opinion.
All in your face, Candace, and made you look silly and stupid, and they left that money on the table. And for the
Candace
people
is like
who said,
part of the problem.
Well, I'm not going to dig.
She's like, oh, thank you. They made it bad.
They already
she
dignified
added to
this
the problem
by giving half-assed non-debunking debunkings. I didn't ask them to do that. They did that. They made this more important and relevant than it needed to be. I didn't ask for them to do that. So now, as an outside observer, I have to grapple with, like, okay, you made it bigger than it had to be. Like, what does that mean? I don't know if it means anything, but now it's a thing. Now it's a thing that I have to deal with.
That is how everyone feels. Like, you are voicing exactly how everybody feels.
That's not how I feel.
Know what it was going to lead to.
I just think everybody sucks.
I couldn't have been more deferential in saying that this could literally lead to nothing, but like, because of this weird prayer and the way it came in. I think that we should follow it. The reaction has now made this feel so crucial.
Okay.
And it, again,
when you invoke the name of God and saying that you get a prayer about something, people are going to take it seriously and think that there's something evil going on. You can't just do that without like religious people getting up in arms. That's why I'm like pissed off.
Get the rest of his alibi,
partially,
right? What is the halfway? What is the halfway?
And she talks like alibi as if like he has to prove that he wasn't part of something evil.
But we don't know about 7:30. And I did ask that question, by the way. That just reminds me. I asked that to Turning Point USA when I had the conversation.
I don't have a cookie.
On the phone yesterday.
I need a
said,
cookie chat.
What's up with Brian Harpole? I've messaged. I'm happy to like debunk this, but this guy is certain he saw Brian Harpole. And they said, they told me that there was no, basically the relationship between Brian Harpole and them had soured. That's what they told me. And they didn't just tell me that yesterday. I want to be clear. They also told me that when I sat across from Erica on the 15th. So there's not open communication right now between Brian Harpole and Turning Point USA. Yet, they did feel it necessary to give his flights for the 15th. Well, if your perspective, and if I'm Turning Point USA,
maybe to try and get you to stop.
He's not
I don't
answering
know.
this question. Don't you think they should want to know if he was there that morning? Like, shouldn't they be like,
they
hey,
probably
like,
don't
where
care.
the heck were you? You were on our payroll, actually. And you were supposed to be with us. And so now we like require to know where you were. And so there's also this nonstop lack of urgency with Turning Point USA, a lack of caring. Like they almost think like the details are funny. They don't care. I think that's how the public feels. They certainly don't care about any of this. Like, why else would you have a tent? Like, it's quite morbid. It felt like a seance to see that tent up and people taking selfies under it.
Yeah,
and
you won't hear a disagreement from me. That is weird.
That there has been something spiritual.
Erica Kirk has a weird way of grieving over her dead husband.
That have been coming out of Turning Point USA.
Just saying.
So thank you, Sam, because I think that you really just hit the nail on the head there.
Might be over grieving. I have no idea.
Very important.
But it felt weird to me.
We were all willing to accept. I did one episode on this, guys. This wasn't like it wasn't like
I'm
crazy.
not married to this, Candace. I'm not married to this guy. I'm not married to this theory. Like, if it's nothing, then it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
And I still suspect that there's a good chance it could be. There's a really good chance it could be nothing. And I'm going to need I'm going to need really big receipts to believe it. Right. But if Brian Harpole's job is to protect Charlie, which he failed at, by the way, let's just be real honest, he failed. The team failed. They failed. If I'm TPUSA, how did you guys fail this? And if Brian Harpole's attention was split.
By the way, if it's not obvious, she's basically kind of walking it back right now. That's basically what I feel like she's doing. Bro, what the fuck? Why did it do that again? Bro. Hold on. For some reason, I have to refresh the page. Elon Musk, fix your fucking website.
Understands how investigations work. This, the official narrative has created more questions than answers. And Candace, kudos to you for going out there and trying to find those answers. And I think it's very important that people understand that when you're doing investigations, you're going to go down many different roads, right? You're going to talk to bad informants that might have ulterior motives. You're going to talk to people that are going to give you misleading information. You're going to do a records check here, and it might lead you somewhere that was completely not relevant to what's going on. Like, the thing that sucks here is that you're doing this investigation with millions of people watching you, and they're going to, try to say, oh, well, you didn't do this and you didn't do that, blah, blah, blah. The benefit, right, of being a criminal investigator a lot of the times is we work in the shadows, we do our investigation, we go down many different holes, then we come down with an indictment and an arrest warrant after we connect everything. Unfortunately, right, for you, Candace, you have a bunch of critics that want to sit there and say, well, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right. I think you've done a great job of, trying to find the truth, and people are going to criticize and talk shit, and I think we're all here for the same reasons. The official narrative doesn't add up. They haven't been transparent.
That she's just sitting here through the glazing.
Doing their own independent investigation, and the federal government's failed with being transparent with the people, and the people don't trust the government anymore. This is really.
I will agree with that. The government has failed.
So, keep doing what you're doing. I know people are going to hate, and I think your heart's in the right place, and you're really trying to find answers here. And yeah, there's going to be, roads that sometimes don't lead where it's supposed to go, or roads that make be
this man has her dick so far up his mouth. What the fuck?
And being transparent about it is the way to go. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's hard. I mean, we have a really small team. I think people forget, like, there's 4 of us, and it's so much work, and we're investigating every lead. And there have been so many that have led nowhere, by the way. I mean, you can imagine you're getting 50,000 emails, and some people just want to write hate stuff. Some people are giving you tips, and we're building those pictures in the backgrounds. We have so many, leads that are still being worked on from a long time ago, and we have to get on the phone with people, and we have to ask for verification, and we have to get when we get paperwork, we then have to verify if the paperwork is real, because I don't have expertise. And then I present something and I misspeak and I say E4 instead of O5 or O6, whatever, and the next thing you know, you get 1,000 emails of people telling you like you're an idiot. It's hard. And people also, I think, forget, and this is not like a woe is me pity party, but like Charlie was my friend. Like, you know, I went through a very real stage of grief. I'm still going through it in many ways because I don't know what happened. Like,
this is
there's
her
something
grief
that feels very unresolved about it. And he just shouldn't have been taken out like that. Okay. And their anger, which I think you guys have seen that last week or whatever, like to see people like Ben Shapiro get on stage and pretend they were his friend. Like, you don't know what that does to me spiritually. Like, I just want to fight. Like, I want to.
I agree with what's being presented. I don't agree with Candace. That's for damn sure.
And there's something that is so grotesque about it at its core.
I agree that there's something wrong with the government. I agree that the presented story is a little wonky.
Right? I look at politics now and it makes me want to vomit. Like, to realize what they turned him
I just don't agree with what she's doing.
They did not view this man as a human being. They did not care about Charlie at all. It was like he either was going to get them a check or he wasn't. You know, and that even for me, like the ick I get from Turning Points, like, you know that man did not like that man. So what are you doing? Is this really just about like who writes you a check and gives you, like, they can just buy a friendship with Charlie? Like, it angers me, and I still have to like contend with that anger, that upset, and also trying to, okay, let me divert my energy into this investigation and trying to figure it out. So I do ask you guys to just recognize that, you know, like to recognize that there's a lot going on. And I will always, if I get something wrong, which is what I was open to doing, like I said to Ian, I was like, if you want to send me an email and he has the smoking gun proof that he wasn't even a Green Beret, I will run it and I will own it. But that's not the case. And so it just feels like petty. Like, if you're going to use your energy, like, we don't need you finding his exes, man. Like, we really could use your help. Like, you know, like.
Yeah, I mean, look, professional criminal investigators don't get it right a lot of the times. There's a reason why a lot of cases don't get solved. You know, people don't get indicted. They don't get charged. It's not easy to run an investigation. It's even harder to do it with 1 million people trying to Monday morning quarterback everything that you do and criticize every single thing that you do. So I totally understand coming from that world myself. So look, you know, you're trying to find the truth. I think you've been good about transparent. Like, if you make a mistake, you correct it. And, you know, one of the negatives is you're out there in front of everyone. So people are going to give their opinions, and that's the negative.
Yep, you're right. Ryan, we'll go to you, and then we'll go to Diligent Denizen.
Yeah, no, I just want to tell you, thank you, Candace, for everything that you're doing. You know, we all appreciate, you know, at least one person out there that seems like they want to find the truth.
You've been crushing it. You've been absolutely crushing it.
Well, thank you. You know, and I think that the thing that upsets, I think, most Americans is the fact that you're doing the job that we expect Turning Point to be doing.
Who's glazing her?
This was
I have no
Charlie's
idea.
organization, and you're the one out here asking the questions, and they're almost seem like they're just content with whatever Fed slop narrative we get, and they're ready to move on and get the party started and go on to the next event and the next whatever. And it makes me feel anyways like that Turning Point and the amount of people that are going after and attacking you for trying to just find answers makes me think that Turning Point's something much bigger, that it feels like it's a giant money laundering operation, that it's a political machine, and that Charlie...
Bro, what the absolute fuck is going on here? Why is it doing this? I'm already in the space. What the fuck? Why is it?
That's why Charlie was putting Doge together, and I'll end it there.
And I got a really big tip on that Doge investigation. I think there was something there. I think if this pans out, and it looks like it is panning out, Charlie discovered that there was a lot of money that was missing. And again, I'm trying to encourage this person to speak out. So again,
she's trying to get another person to speak out. Interesting.
I think all of our instincts have been correct. That there's a lot more than meets the eye. And there's just been a lot of people that have been basically saying to us, you know, these cheap tactics, to even question anything means that, like, you are not you have to just accept.
Sorry, guys, I'm making it work with everything.
Myron, you got to turn yourself off. Your mute on. I can mute your mic, actually. That's a great ad. Yeah, so it definitely feels really weird. Diligent, let's go to you, Diligent Denizen.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what bothers me the most about this whole thing is the lack of curiosity. Like, here we are all citizen journalists. Every single person on this stage right now describes themselves as a journalist in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, I need that.
Right? There's no curiosity, right? Like, when did we say, Well, here's a good example. Harrison, you posted 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk died that there was a credible threat against his life. Has the FBI reached out to you to ask you about that?
No.
Also,
No.
like, are you going to tell us who that was? It feels like that might be relevant now.
Yeah. So in the absence of a rigorous investigation by the agency, we are led to lead this investigation. That is why Fort Huachuca is so relevant. But I was going to ask you, thank you, Candace. Can you tell us who told you that? Because
he's
the
dead now.
FBI is not asking you.
Yeah, I mean, the person that told me asked me not to say who they were, so I'm not going to give up a source. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Well, then, you know, in the absence of answers and a rigorous investigation, we are led to do that ourselves. So every credible piece of evidence that we have to follow, every trail should be exhausted before we say, oh, well, this ain't worth it. And I have seen far more energy put into discrediting this Fort Huachuca witness than I have for people actually looking into the claim itself. Like Candace said earlier, she actually called people at the base to verify whether or not the events occurred. Was he there at that time? Where did it happen at, etc. But I see all of these people. It's almost like
Is
it's
this a train?
coordinated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? All of these people on the same 2 days come out and say, oh, don't listen to this guy. They apply labels. Do you know why we apply labels to people? That way you stop listening to them. Oh, what he says doesn't matter anymore because he's an abuser, because he's a fraud, because he's this, because he's that. Right?
Yeah.
Far more
Do
effort
people
into discrediting that witness than there has.
Do people not realize it? Oh, excuse me. The reason why that matters is if he lies about one thing and other things, why are you trusting him over something so massive that somewhat implicates other people in a murder plot? That's why it matters. That's why it's just like, how do you not get that? That's why people are so mad. It's just like, if he's lying about his family, about his friends, about all this other shit, why are you trusting him over one thing? That's my thing. And it died again. What the absolute fuck? Why is it doing that? I feel like this is... Here, I'm gonna just play it.
For it. I'm just like, all right, guys, like, cool, thumbs up. Like, I'm glad you found like his classmates in middle school or whatever, but like, could you use some of that male energy? Unless
she shows something interesting, I think we're just gonna, like, I don't really care to see her face. All right. Bro, it literally just happened again. What the fuck? What's wrong with it?
Some parsed alibis of sorts.
But they didn't offer up. They didn't refute being there. This is, I think.
That's like, but yeah, that's my problem. Is if he is lying about one thing, what's to say he's not lying about others?
Said, I was not in Arizona or at Fort Huachuca at this time on this day. Not a single one of them have denied it.
Yeah, and I did, I don't know if you were on earlier when I said that, like, when Mitch first contacted me, he never said Mark Amodei. He gave a description of the man, and he said it was a congressman, and then I gave him, you know, faces, and he was like, this looks like the guy, like Mark Amodei. I think Mark Amodei is the only one that at least attempted to give an actual time frame that was relevant, and he gave the footage, and I do think it kind of looks like him. It's not definitive, but like it does kind of look like him that's sitting in the chair when someone gave me the time point. So I do want to be at least like he gave us something, you know what I mean? But regarding the two people that he contacted me about, Brian Harpole and Erica, I find it strange that they went behind the scenes when they had a direct communication with me. Like, if you care enough, why wouldn't you just text me and I could shut it down immediately? Like, I don't.
We just lost your sound.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm still trying to understand like what Andrew Colbert is doing. I don't understand it. I don't understand what Andrew Colbert is doing. I really don't.
Well, obviously they care about the public perception of what's going on.
What the absolute I'm not even touching you. What is going on with this live?
Well, they don't owe you any answers. They don't owe you any answers. That's right. They don't owe us any answers. but also
do I need to
they
pause my
can deserve the
music?
scrutiny they
I'll
get
just
in
pause my
return
music.
for not giving those answers, right? The suspicion that comes with that's part of not giving those answers. So it's a two-way exchange. Go ahead, Harrison. I see you trying to go ahead.
I totally agree with you on that. I do want to, let me add.
Why does it keep doing this? Elon Musk, what the fuck?
This investigation. I do think that there is something here. I will tell you that, like,
I'll be trying to download it, chat,
on it
afterwards.
when I first had Mitch on the show, I was at 50-50 on whether or not he saw who he said he saw. Brian and Erica in particular.
What is wrong with this page? Do you think it might just be brave? It might just be brave. Holy shit.
Doesn't make sense to me.
I might try it here.
Andrew Colbert is what tips me over the edge, I think. It makes no sense for him to go behind the scenes when he could just texted me and said, hey, I heard you covered this. Just wanted to give you this. Here's where Erica was. And, you know, so you could update
Once
people.
I leave, I'll try. It, like, is killing itself. Listen anonymously.
And if that does pan out to be true, then I think we have our answer. I just added you, Suleiman. Did you want to say anything or did you just want to listen?
It's like getting worse.
You're doing, and also I think one of my friends is on your team. But that being said, one of the questions I have is, in terms of Wachuka, how does someone prove the negative? And what I mean by that is, I can't always prove where I example, you know, how do you prove that you're not somewhere if you don't somehow have some kind of photograph you take on the day? Like, how will they be able to disprove where they were? And the reason I asked that is because you can ask that about anyone. For example, Sam, I don't know where Sam was when Charlie Kirk got assassinated. So will he be able to prove it or not? We just don't know. So I guess the question is, how do you prove the negative?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is like, just answer, right? Hey, I was not here. That would be like a nice, strong start. I'm Brian Harpole and I was definitively not there. The second thing is you would just be so surprised at how much your phone has. If you were there, then Brian Harpole would have had to have taken a flight to Fort Huachuca relatively early on the 8th or early on the 9th. I mean, he could, if he's awake at that time, this is supposed to be like a guy who's doing security. He's got to be up early. How quickly before you roll over in bed and text somebody about something, like whether it's like breakfast, whatever it is, you're texting, and that is creating a timeline of everything you're doing all day. Like if you asked me what I was doing today between, I don't know, 4 and 6, I could look through my phone and see who I was texting at that time, and we'd be texting about something relevant to what we were doing or where we were about to meet up. There are so many ways that I think you could show what you were doing, but I think the first thing would be just to answer. Like, you know, it's a pretty straightforward, like, I don't see the upside in Cabot Phillips not answering. There's been so much innuendo about him. People are talking about like his pizza tattoo, like, you know, I don't think the energy of Ben Shapiro, I've been wondering what that's about. And so like when I saw it, like when he said Cabot Phillips, I was like, whoa, that I did not expect that turn. Because I had sent him so many people that like in Turning Point that I thought could have fit the description. Like maybe it was someone on the security team, and he was like, no. And then with no context, he was like, Cabot Phillips was the guy. And I don't know. I find that to be interesting that he was off. Now Cabot could just very easily just be like, I was on vacation. Like that's 7 days, right? I mean, he was off air from the 4th until the 11th. And hey, he's got the wrong. I'd be like, okay, cool. But that's a long time.
All right, now I'm
right?
using
that's a
now
very
I'm
long
using
that he could send us
Google.
something or anything.
Using Chrome now.
So yeah, I think there's a million ways, but it would start with just
let's see if that makes it better.
You know, like it would be very simple, especially because it's gotten so big. And I want to be able to do that for them. I want to debunk it. I want it to be off of people's minds. Like
my apologies,
was just
chat.
like with his family on vacation in Scotland. I want to be like, hey guys, like Mitch we're looking for someone that looks like Cabot. You know what I mean? And so we can focus somewhere else. Or Erica has airtight. Here's where she was. This is what she was doing. And there really are just like, you know, there's just another blonde who was on the
dislike the stream chat. That was horrible. That was horrible. The all of that.
And Candace, if they hadn't already weighed in, that would be one thing, right?
So it makes sense what you're saying in terms of if you were to provide a text, what you're proving is that you texted someone. But or if you take, I mean, they're not going to give you evidence that they took a flight to Fort Huachuca.
33,000 people, by the way, are listening to this.
If they did it or they didn't do it, they wouldn't provide it either way.
Yeah.
And I guess the reason I'm asking the question is, I get the logic behind it. Like, first of all, the smart play would have been not to say anything. After he started giving evidence to that Green Beret, it now becomes the onus is put on you. So I understand it. I'm on your side on that perspective.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, let's take Erica Kirk as an example, right? Let's say she wasn't there on September the 8th, but she hasn't got any digital footprint. Yes, she can deny it. That's one thing. But like, no one's going to believe it, even if she was to deny it. So how do you actually provide evidence that you weren't there? Because if you text someone, that's not evidence, because you could text from the place or from some other place. It's actually having like some kind of digital footprint somewhere else at the exact same time.
Because they did. Like you might not have been on earlier, but I reached out to Turning Point again because, like I said, I'm not interested in chasing rabbits. That like I want to actually know what's real and what's not. Sunday. What's today? On Sunday, I think around 1 p.m. I got on the phone with them. I reached out on Sunday, on Saturday. Got on the phone with them sometime after mass on Sunday, pardon. And they were like, "Hey, like, yeah, she was like making dinner with, like, organizing or making dinner with Charlie. Like, we're gonna send you a message of like between her and Charlie speaking." And I was like, "Great, amazing! I will literally update Twitter right now and say like Erica was making dinner with Charlie." And they send me a message, but the contact was blacked out. So I went back, obviously, and I was like, "Hey, like, the contact's blacked out. Like, this could be a message between like me and George for all I know." And I was like, "Do you just mind like just sending, like, I know Charlie's number, obviously, so just like, show me the contact." And they were like, we blocked it out because it's like a pet, I don't know, like a nickname that she has for Charlie or whatever, and she just didn't want you to see it. And I was like, "Okay, well, you can just like change the contact name and just send me just send me a video of you opening it so I can see Charlie's number and tell my audience like this is confidently a text chain between Charlie and Erica." And then they just said, "Look, it's Sunday. I think it was like 1 o'clock or something, and she's busy with the kids, but we'll get you that." And so I waited.
I'd like to see this message. I'd like to see this a chain of messages.
1 p.m. Now it's 9 p.m. on Monday, and they haven't sent it to me, like just the numbers. So
I have it on Brave. Well, but I don't know why it was stuttering, but hopefully it stops now.
How they could just easily.
I don't care if that was what the problem was or what, but like hopefully it just stops stuttering now.
That she was making dinner, and I also said to them like I don't need to show people the message either, so like don't worry about like his like whatever you call him getting out there. Like I'm happy to just like see it, and I think my audience trusts me enough that I would just say I saw it. So I'm still waiting for it, but that's a perfect example of how it could be done.
So that text message you're referring to, are you saying that it would indicate her specific location? Like she'd be like, "Oh, guess what, honey? I'm downstairs cooking, I don't know, roast chicken for you." So
I'm recapping here, but it was pretty much like, "Hey, park.
Can you share these messages, please?
Be up there for dinner, or like, is dinner ready? Like, yeah, it's on the table now." Right? Well, if they have that and it has the date of September 8th, which it had the date of September 8th, and that was the communication, like dinner's on the table now, like I'll be right down or something like that. Okay, great. If they just blacked out the contact, so I can't obviously I can't say to you guys like it was a conversation. It could have been a conversation between me and Mel. It could have been, so I was just like, could you just send that without the contact?
Do you have okay?
And so that's what I'm waiting for. But that's
if it works, it works. Yeah, I don't know why I was struggling, but it's not now. It could just be because YouTube is also eating up the RAM and killing the page as well.
This is Charlie and his wife.
It doesn't matter.
And it said,
we're back.
"Love you" or something like that. So it would be weird if Charlie was randomly texting that to somebody else, but I know his number, so they could just show me his
I
number.
would like to see these messages.
And just one other question,
because then I'll be more on the side of saying, yeah, that's
because I've been covering this like from the beginning, generally speaking, and you basically have like the Fed position, and then you kind of have your position, which is you've gone through a wide range of strands and wide range of avenues. And I guess a lot of people kind of sit somewhere, maybe in the middle, maybe a bit towards you, maybe a bit towards the Fed position, whatever it may be. And from your perspective, and I kind of know what you're going to say, but just as a question, from your perspective, like where do you sit with the people who don't fully agree with maybe all the lines of investigation you're doing, but then do question the Fed position? Like, I think a lot of people feel like there is this kind of idea that you either have to have the Fed position or you have to totally agree with you or Ian Carroll or whatever it may be. So like, where do you sit with that?
No, I appreciate everyone that's investigating. If you're a person who is trying to convince us that Tyler Robinson on a rooftop by himself with no help took a shot from a 30-06 and like, Charlie ate vegetables and stopped the bullet, like you are just such a useless human being. I really never want to, like, I never want to see you. I don't want to follow you.
Oh my gosh.
I want you to just be off the internet. Like, that would be great, But beyond that, if you accept that something's wrong, obviously, and like there's got to be more to the story, then great. That's why there is so much variety on the internet. And I do think there is a level of this sort of like crowdsourced investigation. So like, I don't agree with everything that, Ian comes up with. He doesn't agree with everything I say. Like, I don't agree with everything Sam Parker tweets or Myron says. But the point is like, I'm sitting here and I'm pulling together a picture because so many different people are able to pull together different strands. And I personally can say confidently that I sense that we are putting a lot of pressure on the authorities. They seem to be coming undone.
It's not a Fed
definitively
position.
Something here, and they were banking on our ADHD. Like they were banking on
what?
We're gonna throw like a memorial. We're gonna make it amazing. We're gonna give them Trump. They love Trump. He's gonna throw red meat. He's gonna say we're gonna make America great again, and we're gonna move on. And it actually seems to be getting bigger, and it's snowballing, and so something has to give. And so I'm grateful for every person
Using
no
ADHD as an excuse. That's
like,
hilarious.
I believe you on all this, but I don't believe this. Like, I mean, that's really what Morgan Ariel just said. Like, I don't like Mitch. That's fine, great. But let's keep the pressure on the feds and remember that like we are all united in recognizing that we live in a really effed up world. Tim Dillon did he made it comedic, but also like it was like dark comedy of like we feel like we all now recognize we're kind of being ruled by like people that are into children and people that traffic children and people that traffic weapons, and they're kind of wanting us to just like be like, oh, but like the new iPhone just dropped. Like something this can't go on like this. Society cannot go on like this. If we have a society that we don't protect good people, like we don't protect decent human beings like Charlie Kirk, we don't protect our children, we're too fearful to even speak and say something, which is, I'm sorry, but we live in a world of remarkable cowardice because of what I view to be a shortage in testosterone. I find so many men to be pathetic.
Oh my
I really
gosh.
do. Like Charlie Kirk was assassinated in broad daylight and you're just going to like accept the Fed slap. I have no use for you. Like I have no use for you. We are losing the society because you're still allowed to walk around breathing is what the issue is. And you get to call yourself a man. Like, why am I taking all these bullets?
Chad, is she talking to me right now?
But like for the men that are just like going along to get a paycheck, like I don't need you ever on the airwaves ever again. I really don't.
Damn.
And if at the end of last year, between Jeffrey Epstein and Charlie Kirk, if something did not stir in your spirit and make you go, what the F is going on? We have no use for you in American society or any other society.
Wow. Holy shit.
So
what the fuck?
Thank you to everybody who has jumped on and had this conversation.
Oh, is she done?
And I appreciate everyone. Harrison, I appreciate you.
Holy cow, I can't believe she just went like that.
I hope that you at least hear my perspective and my heart in this. And no, I'm obviously not going to let Fort Huachuca go. My husband's on an MI6. And yeah, I don't care about Mitch's baby mamas.
Wow.
And beyond that, we will, I'll be back. I'm off air all this week and I'll be back next week. And I have even more explosive stories for you that we have found. We've tracked Tyler Robinson even more on that day. So it's just going to get crazier.
He has to prove he's not there, but we know he was there because I have more proof. Oh my gosh, is that it? Is that it? Yep, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Awesome. Cool. Holy shit, that was all right, that was that position is Tyler shot Charlie with the frangible round that is his grandfather owned to protect. Yes, I think so. But she literally just said at the end there, if you are if you are okay with the narrative that they have sold you, you are not, I don't want you in American society. She literally just said that. She said, I don't want you in American society. That's insane. Wow. Oh my gosh. That is awesome. Well, that was awesome too. Holy cow, I can't believe that. Wow. I'm like bewildered. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Oh, I'm bewildered because like I you know, I expect to hear that kind of shit from I expect to hear somebody say something along those lines if they were like a Ben Shapiro, but not her. That was insane. Oh, fuck. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. All right. So I am going to read super chats now. I'm going to read all super chats. So any super chat that was sent, I will read them even if the machine has already read them for me because I figured tonight was a random special night. Again, I put this together without the idea of any super chats, honestly, because I just wanted like a nice little extra thing. I'll be honest, I got off of work early and I was like, you know, I'm gonna go home. I didn't go home just yet. I went to grab filament for my 3D printer because my 3D printer came with test filaments and they don't give you a lot of test filaments. So my idea was like, let's go buy some filaments. I bought 5 of them, by the way. They're not as expensive as I thought, but they're also not as cheap as I kind of thought too. That makes sense. And now I'm just gonna start playing around doing test printing and all that kind of stuff. And then I need to figure out how to recycle the stuff that I'm not using. Regardless, I like was I was like done with work early. You know, normally I'm done with work actually around 8 o'clock at night. And then I see Candace say, I'm going to do a space. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I want to download it so I can play it later. But then I was like, maybe I could like do a thing on it. And then just randomly, I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Any PLA or PET-G? I'm using PET-G now for my server rack. I'm going to save... Ooh, that was close. I almost ran into that guy right there. Thank God he didn't see me. Right now, I'm using PLA for just the standard prints. I won't use PET-G unless I want to print more heat-resistant stuff, because PET-G is a heat-resistant stuff. Or it's way more heat-resistant, also more expensive. So I have 1 PET-G. That's it. Anyway. I'm not going to bore you with my 3D print stuff. That's not what you came here for. You came here to laugh at Candace Owens. And again, if you left a super chat, very much appreciated. Very, very much appreciated. I'm going to read your super chats now. I'll let you guys get out of here because I respect your time. By the way, join the Discord if you haven't already. Not in my Discord, but in Mizu's Discord. We're going to watch Space... I almost said Spaceballs 2, but Spaceballs 2 doesn't exist yet. We're going to be watching Starship Troopers 2. So if you are interested in listening to Starship Troopers 2, we are going to be playing that later tonight in Mizu's Discord. And so if you're interested, that will be happening. Very much fun, very exciting. Just pulled up. What did I miss? Well, unfortunately, the entire thing. The thing is over. Sadly. So if you don't choose to stick around, I understand it. I don't blame you. And I'm not going to like say that you're evil and mean. I respect your time. Oh, excuse me. I'm feeling it tonight, chat. I'm probably gonna struggle tonight when I'm asleep. I don't know what I ate besides the stuff I mentioned earlier. But my heart hurts a little bit. Well, not my heart, but my whole body hurts, I guess. Anyway, let's read these super chats. Lobert, thank you for being a member for 8 months. And then Lobert again for 5. Grace saying that Nick, I'm assuming you're talking about Nick Fuentes, has given us as watching a Mexican not see shame and expose so many right-wing Israel chairs next to motel bed sitters. Yes. Even though Nick, the Fed, Catboy, Mexican child leader of the white race, Fuentes, even though he is like a laughing stock, that you shouldn't take super duper seriously, he has like for some reason also exposed a lot of other people, which again cements my idea that he is some sort of Fed, and you can't convince me otherwise. Sorry, not sorry. Can I restart stream? No. If you want to listen to the stream, I would recommend that you listen to it after it is over. I don't plan on getting rid of the VOD. In fact, the VOD is purely going to stick around for people that want to have this this Twitter space, just in case for some reason she takes it down. Because you can replay the Twitter space right now. Or as I know, unless she's disabled replays, you can replay it. So it will be worth doing. Is that what I think it is? Oh, is a dude fighting another guy? Oh, he's fighting a roller. He's fighting the thing. We're gonna go help him because I want to. Joanne, thank you for the Johan, excuse me. God, good merciful God, Candace, we get it. You never let go of your left wing roots. Yes. Lobert for 5. Occo rating. Stella Mom Tits. Oh my gosh. I don't really like Stella Montis a whole lot because everybody like gets too try hard in there. It's kind of sad. You know, you kind of just have to run in with nothing. And you know, kind of just have to run in with nothing. And basically let, you know, as much as I kind of want that stuff, I already have some surveyor vaults and I'm not doing anything with them. So he can kind of just have them. He can kind of just have them. I don't care. I'm not really interested in getting into a fight with somebody. Even though with my weaponry, I might win. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm not interested in that. I'll watch the VOD. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Perpetual Lone Gunman, terminations in USA, and listening to logical side comments from the channel owner explains why most of the world knows Americans are seriously intellectually challenged. Damn. Oh, goodness. Internet Zen for 10. Based on her rapid speech pattern and impromptu Twitter space, I'm going to make an unprofessional psychiatric diagnosis. Candace is having a manic episode. I don't know. I don't know. Thank you for the 10, Internet Zen. But, like, I'll be honest. I'm just going to... Ooh, that's a courier. I should go over to that. Ugh. I think that I've seen some people be like, oh, she's losing the plot. She's losing the plot. She's like, she's trying to like pivot, you know, X, Y, and Z, all that kind of stuff. I just don't think she knows what she's doing personally. I think she's just going along with random shit to go along with it. And whatever fits, it fits. My personal opinion. I need more of these. Darn. The thing I wanted is not in there. That's okay. I don't know. I could be wrong, but like I legitimately just listened to her and I think you have no idea what you're doing or talking about. After tonight, I am definitely convinced she doesn't know what she's doing because she basically admitted tonight. And I guess I'm kind of like iffy on this. But she basically admitted tonight that she doesn't really like, that she's just kind of flying by the seat of her pants. I kind of agree. I kind of believe that. I kind of think that she's just doing whatever. She's like finding little threads of things that may or may not matter, little inconsistencies, you know, little glitches in the matrix, if you could say so. And it's turning into her like trying to like piece together this, because again, I think despite everything, she is trying to figure out what happened with Charlie Kirk. I think a lot of people are trying to figure that out. I think the problem is that, oh, excuse me. I think the problem is that she's just barking up and being irreverent of all of it. And it's not helping. In fact, I think it's hurting. It goes back to my thought process that she is just a useful idiot for somebody and she doesn't even know it, if that makes sense. That's my thought process. Could be wrong. Could be completely wrong. But that's what I think, is that she's just a useful idiot. Censor Duck for 5, Australian, I think. Is Candace Owens the evil version of Alex Jones? Maybe. Internet Zen, again for 10. Been listening while doing dishes. She's waffled on multiple things in the last half hour. And yes, Candace believes that Harvey Weinstein, a Jew, funny enough, wasn't guilty. I didn't actually know it was religion. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. You know, listen, I laugh at some Jew conspiracies when I hear them when they come out, when they're interesting to me. I'm not really that interested in all of them because I don't feel like it matters to me that much. But it's funny that she thinks that he's innocent and he's actually Jewish. That is hilarious. Ooh, more prickly pears. We need all the prickly pears. I think we need 6 of them total for my chicken. Need to feed the chicken. Help the chicken grow big and strong. Forgotten Son for 5 says, testing, okay, my card works. Yes, indeed, it does work. Hello there. You know, if it's just you that comes over here, I'm okay with that. Fuck. Goodbye. That was bad. That was really bad. I didn't actually know that he was there. Fuck. I don't want to die. I actually do have a lot of nice things with me. I hear that the other guy saw me. Yep, he saw me. Give me one moment. Shit. All right. Let's see here. My aim is amazing. Thank you very much. Internet Zen for 20. So in review, we blame Necrons, Egypt, implied Brits are part of the problem, orcs. And now we're blaming Korea, Eldar. So I guess Space Marines are US, France is the Imperial Guard, and Israel is the Inquisition. Sure. Sure. Excuse me. Super Slavic for 5. Kudos to Michela of the Ray Neiman variety for foot praise. I don't get it, but apparently the anglerfish will get it. Internet Zen for 5 says Candace Owens and her merry band of simp fucks remind me way too much of Reddit detectives flailing around tracking down the Boston Marathon bombers. Yes. Internet Zen for 5. Reminder, this woman is not FBI or any government agency. No one's obligated to or should give this charlatan Jack, excuse me. And that is true. The thing with her is she acts like she deserves all of this information. I don't know why she thinks she deserves all of this information. Because like she's a podcaster, you know? It goes back to kind of like my thought process when it comes to drama stuff. It's just like, I'm not owed anything by anybody whenever I talk about something. It'd be nice if people tell me things. When people tell me things, it's cool. I like being put in the know. But I'm not owed explanations for different things that go on. And it's really weird when a lot of people do end up like, you know, acting like they deserve it. If that makes sense. Oh, fuck. There's a third one. And then Internet Zen for the 20. Candace Owens is delusional right now. The feds do not care what Candace and her QAnon type loons think about Kirk assassination. Hello? Tyler Robinson did it on his own. Occam's razor applies. 97% support that. I don't know what I think about all that. I'm going to be honest with you. It could very well be possible that... it could be very well possible that... that something could be different. I have no idea, honestly. I have no idea. But if you want the honest truth of it, right now, like, it is getting to the point where I think some people, myself included, just don't care. And that's probably sad for me to say, but I think some people don't care because it's tainting the and that's probably what some people want. Some people want it to be tainted. But like I think some people legitimately will stop caring because of how this is going and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I killed the surveyor and that's what she wanted me to do. Cool. Good to know. What quest do I have for you? Spaceport. Okay, eventually. Anyway, that's it. That's it. This was an impromptu stream. You know, I don't mean to stop it very suddenly, but it is impromptu. I hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely did. It was very fun. I will try and download a version of that Twitter space. No promises. But I will try and download a version of the Twitter space so that you guys can listen to it in your own time without my commentary. We'll try, maybe fail. I'm sure that if I haven't done it, somebody else has. I believe what Sam Hyde said, if nothing happens in 3 weeks, then nothing will, probably. See you on Hump Day? Yes, see you on Hump Day. I will not be streaming until then. All right, chat. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks again, everybody, for coming, whether you donated, whether you watched. Like the stream, very much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed, and join the Discord and join us on movie night. We'll see you.